Welcome to High Heels and Hay Bales, where polished meets practical, legal meets lifestyle, and debt meets dirt.
I am Kristen, your resident farm mama, keeping it real about motherhood, homesteading, and laughing our way through the chaos.
And I'm Adrienne, aka the Ladylike Lawyer. I'm here to help you make sense of money, debt, legal life, without the boring fine print.
So kick off your shoes or boots or heels and let's get into it.
Well, welcome back to High Heels and Hay Bales. I am Adrienne, your bougie lawyer.
And I'm Kristen, the broke farmer.
We are in a giggle mood today. We are going to be talking today about one of my favorite things. You guys all know I love the Bravo, right? So we're circling back. We've done a lot of serious stuff in the last couple of weeks, and it's time for a little bit more lighthearted fun again, like I love to bring to our audience. And so today we are going to be talking about the reality show called the McBee Dynasty.
This all came about because I got like a news notification about this. I'd never heard of them. I still don't know much. And I sent it to Adrienne and I'm like, what is going on with this? They're like filing, I don't know, there was some legal stuff. And I was like, what is this? Why don't I know about it? It's farming. It's finance. It's all this stuff. I need to know.
Yeah.
And she said, we've got to talk about it.
Oh, absolutely. Of course, it's a reality show. And if it's a reality show, I probably know about it. I know the premise. I probably binge watched it. And the McBee Dynasty is a classic. It is a great entree for those of you who think that you don't like reality television. But this is like if Yellowstone and a tax audit and reality television and they all came together and had a baby. Like this one has it all. This family is so nutball crazy. And the shocking thing to me is that they just feel just perfectly happy putting it all out there. Like just all out there. And oh my gosh, does this family, this family is going down in a blaze of glory, and it's hilarious to watch.
Well, it caught my attention because, of course, farming.
Right.
And then I watched the first episode and I was like, this is a train wreck.
Total train wreck. Total train wreck. I love the train wrecks. I love the train wrecks. It's like if cowboy capitalism and camera crews came together, right?
Mhm.
It's totally obsessive. Okay, so let me kind of explain the background of what's going on here. The McBee dynasty is a real family. They live in Missouri. They're a farm family, but I don't think they're a farm family the way that you're a farm family.
No, they're not. They are not.
You're going to learn that this isn't their first entree into reality television, but you're going to have to wait for a little bit more information on that. But this is like a generational business meets financial and moral collapse. And basically, we have a patriarch here, Stephen McBee. And Stephen McBee was married at one point in time to Christy. And Christy and Stephen had 4 sons. And Stephen and Christy are now divorced. And Stephen is purportedly like the head of this family farm thing, and 3 of his 4 boys all work with him.
I thought all 4 boys did.
Well, I'm not really sure about the one of them because we don't see him very often. It's a little unclear if he really works with the group or not, because he's not really highlighted in the series. So I'm still trying to figure that one out. But this reality show basically follows Stephen McBee, his foibles, and his 3 primary sons' attempt to try to like level up and be what their dad wants them to be, while also in the midst of total chaos. These people are they have a $100 million dream here. There's a love triangle that really implodes. $100 million deal. The dad ends up in a scandal, which brings the FBI into the end of season 1. And there's just a lot of financial lessons that are basically hiding under the surface of this drama. And
Wait, the FBI was in the first season? How did I need to get moving on this.
Yeah, you really do, and that's why I really wanted to do this because I wanted to do an overview because I'm telling you, once people hear about this, and it's the nice thing is there's only 2 seasons out, so it's not too far ahead, you can still catch up really quickly for those of you who are listening,
They really
and
screwed the pooch quick on this one.
oh, yeah, it all happened fast. So, let me break down who these individuals are, okay? The scale of McBee farm and cattle, it's massive acreage, okay?
Mhm.
It's multi-million dollar machinery. It's a big, huge operation. In fact, my recollection is like when in the one of the opening scenes, didn't somebody steal something and they didn't even report it, right?
Yeah,
Like
I actually
$100,000 tractor or something,
yeah,
and they
I
didn't
just
even
watched that.
report it stolen,
Yeah,
which
because
to
their
me
insurance was,
yeah,
like, getting ready to boot them. Like, literally, somebody drove on the property, stole a truck with a dump bed and, a tractor or something, and, I mean, it's more than my house, and they were just
yeah,
like, "Eh, whatever."
it was like $100,000 worth of assets, and they did not report it, and as the lawyer in me, that was the very first episode, I said to myself, "Well, this is a red flag."
Yeah,
This is a
big time.
strange red flag, and it does end up being a strange little precursor to the whole thing, and I think the producers put that in there just so that we would circle back to it at the end.
Interesting.
Yes, so this is a huge, huge operation, okay? And, they've got Kristen, uh, they they literally have tractors that cost more than your house.
Yeah, they do. They do. Like, probably not even a tenth of their land is
Yeah,
worth more than yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So
I feel
Stephen
poor.
McBee is divorced from Christy. Okay. We don't see Christy in the entire first season. We see Stephen McBee. The whole show is about him, the dad, the patriarch. So Stephen McBee is the patriarch. He's the founder. He's very charismatic, but he is very controlling. Okay. He's
Mhm,
charismatic, but he's got a lot of controlling tendencies. Okay.
mhm. And from
So,
what I've seen so far, he's kind of a playboy.
oh, yes. So
Okay.
Galina, a woman by the name of Galina, she was born in Russia. She came over, on work visas, that kind of stuff. She's actually very, very, very smart. And she became the financial manager and the CFO of this cattle company, okay, of this farm. I'll go ahead and break some important news here. Stephen McBee is sleeping with Galina, who is
Mhm.
the Russian financial manager and CFO. She actually owns 10% of of this farm and cattle company. That's
I
how
didn't know.
valuable. Oh yeah, she owns 10%. Okay. So that's Galena. Steven is having an affair with not an affair, he's having a full-blown relationship with
Mhm.
Galena. We later learn that Galena was the reason why his marriage ended, but it's not just Galena, he'd been messing around with a lot of people. So, that's Galena. It's important to know that Galena, as the CFO and the financial manager of this farm, is working on a 100 million dollar investment opportunity, and like that's her thing. She is trying to get this investment into this cattle company because they're expanding. Okay, so she's working on a multi-100 million dollar financing deal, and Steve McBee is sleeping with her. Okay, now the other people, of course, are gonna be, Christy, who we don't see until the 2nd season, but I talk about her a lot. The sons, Stephen Jr., he's the oldest. He's really the next person in the line who this show is really about because Stephen is the patriarch, is the dad, but it's also really clear that he's trying to figure out, who's gonna take over, who's gonna be in charge, and so now it's a struggle with the 3 primary boys that are in the business. They're all kind of fighting with each other. It's pretty clear the oldest, Stephen Jr., is kind of the one in charge. He flies a helicopter over the stuff. He's handsome, he's very handsome, and he's
Mhm.
very charismatic like his dad, but he's young, he's in his 20s and he's really being given a lot of things that he can't quite handle yet.
Right.
He has a girlfriend named Calla, and I'm gonna get back to Calla because Calla is she's an interesting piece of this puzzle, but they have an on again, off again relationship, and it is just painful to watch, honestly. These young people, I mean, they come together, they're passionate, and they fight, and then they separate, and we just watch it over and over and over and over and over, and that alone is delightful if you've got some popcorn. Um, Jesse is the son that is the quietest. He is dating Allie and he eventually marries Allie. Cole is the one who I'm going to say is most like his dad. He's not as handsome as his dad and Steve Jr., but he is a hot mess. He's the one who drinks more than he should. He's the one who, even though he has a long-term girlfriend who's now pregnant in season 2, he's
Oh.
still like, making out at the bars with women and he's working on that. But he's messy. He's definitely the messy one. So
They
we have
were
Steve.
where I
Go ahead.
was in the episode, they were, like, right introducing all the girls, and
Mhm.
I was like, "Ooh, that looks messy," so I'm
Yeah.
glad to know I was
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah, you were right. They all really represent different family dynamics and different business roles. It feels a lot like Succession meets Yellowstone. There's a lot of wealth. There's a lot of ego. There's a lot of land here. There's a lot of talk about legacy. There's this belief that they really are like Tombstone, right? Or there's this
Right.
belief that they really are, these heroes. And I think that the dad is clearly pushing the envelope in a lot of different financial areas. Everything looks skanky, right?
Right.
Like why is he sleeping with his CFO? Right? Why is he
No, wait.
sleeping with the woman who's in charge of over $100 million deal? And then here's the thing. Problem is that one is not enough for Stephen.
Right.
Stephen has to flagrantly cheat on Galena while she's in the middle of trying to do a $100 million deal. He is on camera flagrantly cheating on her with anybody else who will listen, who's
Mhm.
willing. And as you start to see I mean, it's almost like watching a drug addict because he
Mhm.
is so addicted to himself and to his own fame and to his own ego that you start on the outside looking in, just watching the mistakes he's making to screw up his farm, to screw shit up for his kids, the advice he gives his kids, right? He's given it, his kids have Cole and Jesse both have amazing women in their lives who love them, right? And who are committed to them, even though they are very flawed. And yet Steve Sr., the dad, is that kind of dad who's like, she'll put you in chains, you know? I mean, he's just the guy that you don't want to be around because he's just such a jerk. And it's
Right.
so hilarious to
Well,
watch.
that was definitely the vibe I got when the whole Galena thing in this first episode that I watched, when I realized that they were sleeping together, I was like, "Oh." And then he's like, "Yeah, I can't be married. I don't wanna do this. She can only sleep over a couple nights a week. I have my rules. I need my space." And I'm like, to throw another chick in the bed.
Right? It's just unbelievable.
Now, isn't there another woman that's close to Galena?
Oh, yes. Masha. Masha, we don't see until the second season. And
Okay.
all through the first season, we see Galena, who thinks that she's the only love of Steven's life. Okay. And it's funny because she was the other woman, obviously. She
Mhm.
was having an affair with Steven when he was married to Christy. And
Mhm.
so she stole him away from Christy. And then the tables turn on her and a friend that she has from Russia, she brings into the orbit. And then the friend ends up sleeping with her man and kicking her out of the house. And all of this happens while Galena is spearheading this massive investment deal for a new coffee and car wash expansion of the McBee brand. We're talking $100 billion. dollars. This is a huge gamble that they're all taking. They're all like cat on a hot 10 wire. Everything they have is on the line. And Steve McBee is pissing off his Russian financial girlfriend at
Mhm.
and he's doing it so flagrantly and so disgustingly obviously that it's
Mhm.
almost like he's trying to sabotage his life. It just feels
Uh-huh.
like you're watching somebody who's trying to sabotage their life.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, a man like that, of course they're gonna do that, and showing off for the camera. "Look what I can get."
Uh, oh, you this whole and I think that's what's so fascinating about this because we are getting to the reason why we're talking about this because there was FBI involvement. There's
That's amazing.
yes, Steve is in a lot of trouble right now, and we're getting to that point. But the fact that he just looked like he had a lot of things going for him, and like so many white men do. Many people do. Listen, we all have a tendency to do this, but we can snatch defeat out of the jaws of victory
Oh, for sure.
pretty damn quickly. And that's just feels like what you're watching Steve McVie do.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, here's the thing. As a homesteader farmer person, I see flaws in this plan
Yep.
because, I mean, if you're gonna build a farm empire,
Yep.
you don't need a car wash and a coffee company. Like,
Right?
I mean, a separate situation probably, but, like, usually it's, "I need more land, I need more cattle, I need more this, I need more that," not it's obviously all about the money, obviously,
And the fame,
and
because let
fame,
me
yeah.
tell you something. Steve McBee Sr. and the son a little bit, and you'll get to and I'll get to this and tell you and you'll make the connection here as to why. But they are both really about what it looks like, about the
Mhm.
flashiness, about they wanna make it look like they're working, working, working really hard,
Yeah.
and they're doing they are definitely the leads in their own show,
Mhm.
and yeah. So let's talk about this $100 million. This was just a huge, high stakes business gamble, with Galena and causing all these explosions. So she's not just the girlfriend, she's the CFO, part owner, 10% owner. She's actually living with Steven. She's actually living in his house with him. Okay. Managing the finances, and she's really pushing for this growth. So Steven Sr.'s out here, chasing glory and validation. He's got all this big talk energy, he's got the
Mhm.
BDE like anybody else.
Mhm.
He's doing this luxury image. We're going to build an empire. He's making it look like he's way, way, way bigger. It feels a little unrealistic. I mean, I don't know what you think as
Very.
a farmer yourself. But this level of ambition sounds really, really insane for a small town farmer. I
Yeah,
mean, it just does.
especially, I mean, it is a small town, it's in Missouri. It is
Yeah.
farm town, and I would assume, I think from what I've heard also, everybody looking in from the small town is like, "What's going on here?" Because that's a little nuts.
Well, Steve McBee will very, very clearly tell you that everybody hates him. And of course
Mhm.
his reasoning is because he's so successful and, everybody's jealous. But I do think that there's got to be now that we know a lot more about Stephen McBee, I think that's probably fair to say people don't like him in his community.
Oh, yeah.
There's probably a truthful statement. There's probably a lot of people who do like him. I mean, he's probably made some money for some people and I'm not, but the dangers of mixing romance with corporate governance, um, first off, investors really do not like conflicts of interest. Okay.
Mhm.
And it's clear they were trying to keep this relationship secret from the investors. But Steve McBee is having these flagrant affairs where he's like letting other women use his car and they're getting into car accidents, and Galena
Mhm.
has to go and figure out how to, go get it paid for. And then Galena will beat the car up herself and then I'll have to go get it fixed again. I mean, Galena's got herself a temper. Herm's got a temper.
I mean, that Eastern European Russian thing, I can relate.
So there's this scene where these investors are starting to like get a sense that there's conflict between Galena and Steve, and eventually they lose this $100 million outside, equity investment, and they just completely pass on them because of the chaos and this, and that pushes everybody into even a worse place than they were at, and we start to see Steve McBee, like, literally pumping everything that he can find, and Galena starts drinking, and Galena kind of develops a drinking problem. And there she is. She's in the office trying to work with numbers. She's got wine in her tumbler and empties in the thing. And it's just, though, everything is falling off of the rails. Everything is falling off the rails. The investors are out, the personal breakdown, the business is falling apart. Um, and this is when, Galena realizes that he's not just like going to other cities and having an affair with a lady or so. He actually has started hooking up with Galena's Russian friend, Masha, who just happens to be 20 years younger, but look just like her. Blonde and
Oh,
skinny, look just like her, only 20 years younger.
oh,
You can only imagine. You can only imagine, Kristen, how
oh, I
pissed off a Russian CFO with 10% stake in the business, who's sleeping with the owner, who's been trying to work on a $100 million deal, would feel when that sleazeball that she stole from his husband, from his wife, starts screwing around with her buddy. Oh, and she
um,
and Masha, there is no honor among thieves, my friend. No honor among thieves. They go after each other. And there's a cat fight. At one point, the boys put them in a room together and like with helmets and stuff.
oh
It's
my
totally,
god,
totally ridiculous. So
oh
this
my god.
$100 million dream, Kristen, it totally dissolves. The investors disappear. Galena finds out her partner has been seeing her friend behind her back, and that is before the federal government even makes a play here. That's before they even show up in the story. Okay,
Hmm.
so here we're moving into love, lies, and legal trouble. Okay, so maybe you might know more about this than maybe I do. I'm not going to assume that you do or don't, but are you aware of what federal crop insurance is?
Yes.
Okay. Federal crop insurance is when a farmer, they have insurance, and if their yields are lower, they can get an insurance, right? That is how we subsidize farmers. As one of
And to
one of the
be
ways we
fair,
subsidize farmers.
right, to be fair, that's usually larger farms, so I don't have
Absolutely. Right.
access to that, so that's something with a few hundred acres or whatever.
Right. There's probably a minimum of a certain acreage, but
Yeah.
this is a benefit, and this is one way that farms are indeed subsidized. And turns out, it is, when you lie on insurance forms about crop insurance, it
Federal
turn
crop insurance.
it turns out it's fraud, federal fraud. So he underreported his yields. He took millions and millions of dollars in fraudulent insurance benefits. Somewhere between $3 and $4 million between 2018 and 2020. That's just 2 years. 2018 and 2020. But what's most notable is this show didn't come out until 2024.
What?
So why would this guy have gone into filming knowing he's a he's a cheater pumpkin eater?
Well, we know from other TV shows, they think they're infallible. They think they're untouchable,
Boy, they really
and then
do
it's never
think
gonna
that,
come
don't
out.
they? I mean,
Yeah,
they really do.
I
Um,
mean, Jen Shaw, what's her face's husband? I mean, I'm seeing a trend here with reality TV.
now that you say that, I mean, if we think about it, we really put it into perspective. Somebody who is going to behave as recklessly as he has behaved with Galena and this $100 million investment, and the fact that his children are, his children's livelihoods are on the line. Somebody who would be that risky in his personal life is absolutely going to be that risky, and he's absolutely going to do shit like that in his private
Oh, yeah.
life.
I mean,
So,
realistically, anybody with, like, a high profile Bernie Madoff, he was wasn't he the head of the SEC? I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
like, these guys kinda have a thing where
Yeah.
they're like, "Nobody can touch me. I can do whatever I
Well,
want."
that's like Erica Jane's husband, Tom
That's what I
Giraldi.
meant.
He
Mhm,
he was he was the head of the bar association in
mhm.
in California. He's the one who wrote and graded the bar exam for new lawyers. And you're right, Bernie Madoff was head of the SEC.
Mhm,
Absolutely.
mhm,
Absolutely. These people think that they start to believe their own lie. They start to believe their own grandiosity, right?
mhm.
So we at the end of the first season, there is a fight between Steven, the son, right? The oldest son, and Galena. Steven's trying to keep Galena on track because he understands that his dad is, totally making a fool of her, and she holds the purse strings too. So
Right,
he's trying to walk this fine line. He's trying to stop her from drinking and he's trying to do all this stuff. But the two of them get into an argument while the cameras are on, and she's like blurts out about the FBI. And he immediately stops. He's like, and, like, gives her, like, the eye, and we can all
mhm.
see it, and then he says, "Come with me," and then they march into a private room, and all the cameras are up against the door, and he's whispering, he's like, "Nobody knows about the FBI. Nobody knows about that. You need to keep your mouth shut about that." And
Oh my
you're
god.
just like, "This is Bravo has can't you still have a microphone on."
Right. First thing you do is
Like,
rip the mic off. What are you doing?
um, "Hello?" So now we know that the FBI is involved somehow. And the season pretty much ends, first season ends that way. We come into the second season, okay? We do not see Steve McBee in the second season almost at all, because clearly between filming of the first season and the second season, shit hit the fan with the FBI.
Right.
So, I'm telling you, this second season is when we see all of the Masha stuff. And with Galena, Galena's drinking problem gets a little bit more serious, and we're starting to see the interactions between the boys and their women. Okay, and the boys and their women are an interesting place to watch, because you start to see all of the things that Steve McBee screwed up and starting to come back at them. Right.
Right.
So the same overconfidence that drove $100 million deal also drove the fraud. Right. I
Mhm,
mean, that makes total sense. Yeah.
mhm.
He's lost credibility. He's lost the leadership. There's a void there now. His sons are really stressed out because I may not have made this very clear. Um, Steve McBee pled guilty, and he was just sentenced to 2 years in federal prison. Doesn't seem like a lot. Prosecutors asked for more, but he has to report December 1st or December 7th, I think. So he's
No
going to
kidding.
prison. And in the second season, he stayed out of the limelight because he was negotiating with the IRS or with the FBI at that point, or trying to come up with a settlement deal. And so we see the mom step in. And so now the mom is stepping in, and now Galena wants to go over to Christy and, like, can you believe he did this to us both? So
Yeah, y
Galena, who had an affair with him, who took him away from his wife, now is trying to hang out with his wife, saying, "Can you believe we were both screwed over by this guy?" And the mom, who has made her own money. She was very wealthy. My understanding is that Steve McBee initially got most of his money from her family. Right. And when they divorced, she kept a portion of the business that they had together, and she turned it into a multi-million-dollar business. So she's doing very well. We
right,
never see her, but now that Steve McBee is dealing with the FBI, she's now coming in to try to help give counsel to the boys, to try to help them figure out what to do. And she's now got to kind of make nice with Galena, because Galena's the one who knows the money. She
right.
knows all the handshakes and stuff. Oh my god, it's just such a mess. So, um,
Very rarely does TV make me speechless, but that's yeah. Mhm.
okay, okay. So I'm gonna now move it into another phase that really starts to give you a better understanding of what's going on with this family. Okay, I've talked about Steve McBee Jr., the oldest son, a couple of times. And I said he's, the heir apparent. He's clearly in the second season. The show is really about him, his conflicts, he and his brothers fighting, his brothers kind of pushing a little bit, trying to get a little bit more power, and him trying to figure out what he's going to do. He's clearly a little overwhelmed. But how did we get here? Do Are you a big fan of like The Bachelor, stuff like that?
I've caught several seasons, yes.
Do you ever remember a show called Joe Millionaire?
I do.
Well, if you're familiar with Joe Millionaire, then you might be familiar with Steve McBee, the son, because Steve McBee, the son, was on Joe Millionaire just a couple years ago in 2022. That's really how the family's visibility got boosted up. And he was purported to be a millionaire farmer, and he ended up with Calla, was the girlfriend that he ended up with through the television show. So I honestly think that was really the entree here and how they all got here. And it
Oh,
also
yeah.
explains why we see so much of the fighting with Steve and Calla, and they're a focal point of this. There's a lot of fighting about money in this show, right? The
Oh,
younger
yeah.
brothers find out that the older brother has been giving Calla like $20,000 just here and there, just because he loves her. And
What?
he's like trying to live the Joe Millionaire life when their farm is, $70 million in the red, and they're trying to get $100 million loan. And so all of these things are playing in together. And Cal is like, yeah, this is not what I signed up for, yo. And then
Right.
we've got the brothers and their girlfriends who are weighing in. They hate, they don't like Calla 'cause she's uppity. And it's just, oh my gosh, it's got all of it. It's got everything. I love this show. It's got it's got the FBI. It's got sexual drama. It's got financial drama. It's got romantic drama. Ah,
Mhm.
it is good.
I
It's
didn't
good.
realize Joe Millionaire was still a thing,
Ah,
and I'm realizing that these people are literally just chasing TV lights. I mean, they're just chasing anything that they can to make a buck because
yeah.
the farm doesn't necessarily seem to matter
Well, I
to
mean,
most of them, at
I
least
think I
Steve's.
I think well, I think it needs to matter to them because, they are $70 million in debt, at least they were. And
Right.
we have, one of we got the brothers kind of working against them. So like the goofy one, Cole, he signs he signs a land lease without telling his brother or dad. Right? So we got little hands in the pot, and nobody really is in charge, and the people who are in charge are crying and beating up other girlfriend, I mean, it's
Oh
just
my god.
crazy. It's just absolutely crazy. So there's constant tension trying to save the business and trying to keep the cameras happy. I just think that this is, performative wealth, and I think that's what you're speaking to. It's
Yeah,
this.
absolutely.
I want
Absolutely.
people to think I'm rich, and people think rich people do this, and so I'm gonna do this so that because that's what rich people do.
Right.
Not, I need to live a good life. It's, I wanna do this because that's what rich people do, and I want everyone to see that I'm rich. Be
Exactly. That's exactly what this feels like. I mean, to as someone who is a homesteader or farmer, I have yet to see anywhere where the actual farm is that important. It's all about the fame and getting, "Oh, look what we can do. Look what we can do." And I think that's whew,
Well, I
that's a
think we
little
can
nuts.
draw a parallel here, even though most of us are not living our lives on the level of the McBee family, right? ordinary people like you and I, we do tend to overspend in an effort to appear successful. I mean, that's
Yeah.
natural. That is
Yep.
natural. And I really think that this is just, a microscope on this. You're seeing this on a very, very big scale and a very big platform. You're just seeing a small town guy who, you know, who never felt manly enough. And this is how he feels manly enough. And so he's
Mhm.
going to double down and triple down and quadruple down on it. And he thinks that he's, the genius. He thinks he knows everything about women. He thinks he knows everything about business. He thinks he knows everything about farming. He thinks he knows everything about raising kids. He thinks he knows everything about, marriage. And he knows nothing. He has no insight really on much of this stuff. And
Yeah.
his
I
kids
mean,
are nice. I mean, I really feel for his kids. They're really trying, and they've been given a huge responsibility. But I also think that this is how a lot of big businesses, big family businesses are. It's everybody's hanging on, onto the roller coaster, and nobody's really in charge. Some people are just
yep.
very fortunate that they skate through things luckily, and other people get into trouble, like
Oh,
Steve.
absolutely. Yep. Oh, absolutely.
Oh boy. Well, at the end of the day, if you can't pay the feed bill, it doesn't matter how many TV lights you got out there, right?
Yep.
Or
Exactly.
maybe it doesn't. Maybe even going down on a blaze of glory and on TV is better than anonymity. Maybe that's what some people think.
I I don't know. I personally would rather, we've talked about how my life could be a reality TV show. I I pass. I don't think I need that. I don't think I want that because eventually all the dirty secrets are going to come out
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you're going to get busted. You're going to end up in prison.
yeah, yeah. That's probably fair. Well, after all that, my friend, what's left is not just a TV show. It's like a financial cautionary tale
Oh, for sure.
for
Oh yeah.
regular people. I mean, us
Don't
regular
sleep
people
with
can
your
actually learn.
CFOs.
We
Oh
can
yeah.
actually learn from this mess.
Don't
Yeah.
don't sleep with your CFOs and don't get into coffee and car washes if you're a farmer.
This family is very typical. Like you can watch this show and you knew people from high school like this, right?
Right. Yes.
And they just, they came into a bunch of money, but they're still messy. But like every time Cole gets drunk, right? He gets super emotional, and he becomes and he like punches walls and stuff, and he gets drunk a lot, and we're just watching the the reality, and I I think that's what I like is just watching how these people handle these circumstances, and I realize that they're no better than you or I. Like
Oh
like,
yeah.
I'm pretty sure we would do better in these situations, and
Yeah.
that's why I like reality show because it makes me feel better about myself.
Yeah, I've started to realize like, oh, okay, I'm not a terrible person. These people are. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
exactly. Exactly.
I mean
Well,
it makes for great TV.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm so ready for the next season to start. So what are the lessons from this ranch? What are the lessons that we've learned?
Don't sleep with your CFOs cuz
Absolutely. If your
uh, uh
CFO is your girlfriend, it's not just drama, it's a compliance problem.
right. Um what was the let's see here. The love triangles and
Oh,
ego
yes.
scare off
Yes.
investors. Is faster than the fire on the farm does. Although that really scared the
Exactly.
crap out of me when they were burning the field and it took off. I was like, "These guys don't know what the hell they're doing."
Yeah, they're total messes. That's what I
Yeah.
say. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, debt can wear cowboy boots. Appearances
Mhm.
can hide insolvency, that's for sure.
Mhm.
Personal chaos will cause business risk.
Mhm.
Right?
Cowboy rich is credit card broke.
Exactly, with just nicer boots and worse accountants.
A lot more money. I mean, that's realistic even in my scale. Like, I'm farm rich, but I am credit card broke.
Yeah, yeah, I hear you. I get it.
Um,
Well, I will say that, another reality show that I hope everybody out there is inclined to go watch now, and please. The only person I really intend to call to task here is Steve McBee Sr. I do really like the boys, even though I'm not politically aligned with all of them. And I will say too, I came into this show with kind of a snarky attitude towards the girls, the women, right? Because they
Mhm.
kind of were putting up with stuff that I don't think I'd put up with, and a patriarchy that I would not be able to tolerate, and
Yeah.
this behavior on the part of the dad who thinks it's just okay to just cheat on his wife and cheat on women, and encourage
Mhm.
his sons to do it. I mean, that
Right.
I think is the really really despicable sleazy
Yeah.
part, is that the dad was not supportive of any of that. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I had a phone call come in.
You're okay.
Um, but they come in and see that stuff. It's just I feel for the sons, and I feel for the women, because they had a more quiet authority than I would have expected. And even though to me it looked like they were fitting into, a patriarchal society and just kind of accepting their role, I do want to say that Casey and Allie and even Calla really gave me a little bit more hope for the future, because they kind of aren't really going to completely tolerate this kind of stuff, and they're
Right.
holding these men to a little bit higher standards,
Yeah.
which is what I like to see. I like to see
Yeah.
Steve McBee's ways go to the wayside, and everybody evolve emotionally into a more better place. And that's what I saw towards the end of the second season with those women. So
Okay.
I mean, that's a great way to end that one.
Mhm. Oh, yeah.
Huh.
I haven't gotten into the women part, but I did see what you're saying. At first, I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, these girls are
Yeah.
just like every other farm wife that's just gonna roll over and take it," and
They don't.
but I think as a woman in the farm industry, I also know that it takes a special woman to live that life, and there's a lot more behind the scenes, I would bet, that we're not seeing, and they are strong women.
I absolutely agree with you, and that is definitely the thing that I took away. That was the biggest aha for me. That was the
Mhm.
best learning experience that I took, was the kind of sacrifices that they have to make.
Yeah.
The sacrifices that the men are making to work a farm. I mean, they
Yeah.
are working. The sons are working really hard. I'm not going to
Right.
say Steve McBee is, but they are working hard.
Right.
And to watch the women support them while also trying to navigate their own humanity, and keep themselves, straight. I feel differently about the women after watching the full second season than I did about the first. So that is a nice upturn, and it's not political. It's really just kind of how I thought that they were going to unfold, and they didn't
Right.
unfold the way I thought. So
Yeah.
yay. Busting
Yay.
myths. Busting
Yeah.
myths.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
So
Oh, well, Kristen, we did take a break, so this is our audience has been waiting for this episode, and because we took a break, and we've wound down the McBee episode, just, any let's check in with your health. I'd like
my
to check in
health,
with your health. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. Right now I'm exhausted because I'm, as we discussed earlier off camera, I am burning the candle at both ends.
Yep.
But I am now down 37 pounds, which is
Nice.
nuts. And because I am on the GLP. If you're not up to date, I'm on GLP-1. I use Amble. They're the company I get GLP-1s from. And I realized that my health is amazing. My I did blood work a couple weeks ago. My doctor was like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Yeah, I know. Like my blood work is incredible. Like numbers that
Really?
were going oh yeah, numbers that were going up have come down, numbers that were down have come up. Like it's all smooth sailing." Yeah.
Really?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
Wow. Well,
So, I've got more energy except for today and I'm it's going good. It's going good.
Well, I do like to check in with you. I know that you are on a weight loss journey, and I want to say that this is not about physically how you look.
Right.
I very much believe that being healthy, physically healthy, our bodies having the things that it needs and exercise and stuff. I think that it helps us function better in the
Right.
world, and I am not always good about it myself. You've encouraged me to get back into a healthy lifestyle because I drifted away from it a little bit, and it does just feel better to have a little bit more energy.
Hmm.
I've got a good, I'm working out with a trainer now twice a week. I'm trying to go to Pilates once a week. I'm trying to pick up running again just a little bit. So,
Well, the
but
other thing
but
is,
it all is helping me feel better, and I really had to drop a few lbs in order to kind of even begin to start to feel comfortable
oh
in
yeah.
that lane again. So
Well,
I'm feeling a lot better.
I, t-
You look like you're healthy.
yeah. Well, I told you before, the weight is a big thing, and I have, I guess body dysmorphia. I still see my biggest size when I look in the mirror.
Mhm.
But the other day I was putting on my pants and I'll open book here. When I started all this, I wore like a size 24 or 22, just depend, but mostly size 24 pants and a 3X shirt, but I would get them bigger, so 3 or 4X. The other day I was walking through the field and my pants were falling down and I was like, "What the hell? This is weird." So I went in the house, I checked and I'm like, "These are 22s. This is interesting." And in 2020, I lost 140 pounds, and then I got pregnant and I gained a bunch back. But I had all of my clothes from when I had gotten to my smallest size, and I was down in an 18. And when I started that, I was in a 26. So I lost a lot. Anyway, I pulled out the size 20 jeans and I put them on, and they went on and fit. And I was like, what? That's interesting. So I thought, okay, I know this is far out there. Pulled out a pair of 18s. Some of them didn't go up because they were, like, super skinny, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Okay, alright, we're
Yeah.
not doing that."
Okay.
But I got a pair of 18s on my butt, and I was like, "Oh, okay." Like, I got a compliment from a friend I haven't seen in a while. She was like, "You're you look better. You look
Yeah.
different." And
Yeah.
my skin's cleared up. I mean, there's been a lot more than just losing the weight, and I feel
Yeah.
good about it this time.
It's the energy, and you're going through a difficult time right now,
Mhm.
and despite that, the your energy, your vibe is better.
Yeah.
You seem more confident, you seem more content.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
content with who you are, and
Mhm.
it and when you're sleeping and your body is like making, getting good stuff in it, and
Mhm.
it's, it feels good. It feels good. Candy feels good too. I mean, candy and junk taste really good, but
I
it
did,
does feel good.
so I started all of this September 1st. I had not had, like, junk food. Well, that's bullshit. I haven't had, like, candy or, like, anything real sweet and stuff like that. I sat and handed out Halloween candy, and I had, like, 2 pieces of candy, and I was like, it was ugh. And I'm like,
Yeah.
"What is wrong with me? I'm broken now. I can't eat candy." But, I mean, it's changed my entire mindset with food. I'll still eat candy. Don't
Yeah.
I still ate it. Don't get me wrong.
Same. Same,
But
but you gotta I'm a candy hound, so I'll eat candy before I'll eat a chicken. But, it definitely lowers the food noise, and, it's bizarre how you can feel like you're not hungry when you know you haven't eaten in, like,
mhm.
8 hours, and you're like, "Yeah, no, I'm good."
Yeah. No, that actually I got, scolded this weekend because I stood up too fast and I almost
Yeah,
passed out. I was like, "Oh,
yeah,
I didn't
yeah,
eat since last night."
yeah,
And it was like 3 or 4 in the afternoon. I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I probably should eat something right now."
yeah, yeah. Well, you look good, my friend,
Thank
and
you.
here we are. We're still doing this, and I'm really proud of you.
So that's it for this week. Don't be a farmer and a greedy Egomaniac. That's the word I was looking for.
Yes, yes, yes. I would put I believe Steve McBee has some sociopath in him too. Just he
Mhm.
doesn't seem to have any regard for the consequences
No.
emotionally of his actions on
Oh,
anyone
no.
else, not his kids, nothing. It's all
Yeah.
about him. So,
Yeah.
I at least appreciate that he stayed out of the spotlight second season so we could get a better handle on what's going on with the rest of the crazies.
He was
So,
probably told to by his lawyers.
yeah, well, probably which once as we're signing off here, I just have to say, do you think the FBI tells Bravo who to do a show on, or do you think the people who do these shows are just so outrageous that they are more likely than anyone else to have committed a federal crime?
I
Do you
had
think?
this thought at the earlier as we were talking. I thought, I wonder if the FBI, we've talked about how
I
maybe
know,
the FBI
I
has
know.
an informant in Bravo or Bravo. uh, There's got
Yeah.
to be something. So
Yeah,
maybe
you and my friend Brooke. I personally believe the personality that brings somebody to a reality show is the same type of personality that causes people to take risks and do illegal things and think they can get away with them.
yeah.
But I do see your version, and you and my friend Brooke are on the same page, and I can't dismiss it. I can't discount it. I mean, it's six of one, half dozen of another. They could both be two things could be true at once.
Here is my thought, and it can be my final thought for the day.
Okay.
If Bravo comes to you and says, I would like to do an entire series on your life, pause, take a step back, and say, what illegal shit have I done that they are going to find out about? And is it worth risking everything for prison to be in the spotlight?
We are going to end it on that. My friend Brooke is going to She is so in agreement with you. We're gonna have to have lunch one of these days.
Yes, we are. We
All
are.
right.
That's fantastic. All right. Well, we will talk at everybody next week then.
Talk to you next week.
All right.
Thanks for hanging out with us today on High Heels and Hay Bales. If you laughed, learned something, or just had a good time, hit that follow button wherever you listen.
Want more? Head over to highheelsandhaybales.com to catch past episodes, send us a message, or drop your topic ideas.
And of course, we're on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Come say hi, share your stories, and join the conversation.
Until next time, stay grounded, stay laughing, and stay out of trouble. Well, mostly.
See you next week.